Welcome to the Economy Magazine. I'm Benjamin Chong Alfares with the news from the global economy. Coming up today, Tesla takes on China, and Southerners in the U.S. remain staunchly Republican against all odds. First, the headlines. U.S. authorities may force BNP Paribas to pay more than $3.5 billion in penalties for allegedly violating sanctions. The fine represents about half of the group's net income in 2013, posing a major setback for the French lender. The figure also represents one of the largest penalties ever sought by the U.S. Department of Justice against the bank in a criminal case. Prosecutors are weighing a criminal charge against the bank for lack of cooperation during the investigation and for processing billions of dollars in illegal transactions even after it was told to stop. Exit polls in India show Narendra Modi on course to be the next leader of the world's most populous democracy. Four major exit polls showed Modi's opposition party and its allies on the cusp of a sweeping parliamentary majority. The Bharatiya Janata Party leader has vowed to kickstart India's economy and create jobs. Though some view Modi as an autocratic Hindu supremacist, he remains the hot favorite to be India's next prime minister.
He has carved out his image as if he has zero tolerance against corruption. He is a good administration. That is what the impression people have got. And that he is a man who speaks against Pakistan, who is very firm in his utterances. So they found that here is a man who will, in his regime, there will be no terrorism.
The Dow and the S&P 500 reached record closing highs on Tuesday, while the Nasdaq continued to slide, revealed ongoing anxiety about tech stocks. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 19.97 points to its third straight record closing high, while the S&P 500 gained 0.8 of a point to its second straight record closing high. Shares at mortgage finance giants Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac jumped as new policies could make it easier for many Americans to obtain mortgages. But the tech-heavy Nasdaq dropped 13.69 points, weighed down by a drop in Cisco Systems shares. The pound rose to the strongest level in 16 months against the euro in anticipation of data showing a drop in UK unemployment. Economists forecast today's data will show the jobless rate fell to the lowest in more than 5 years. The pound has rallied in the past month as traders bet stronger growth will lead the central bank to bring forward its plans to increase borrowing costs. The Bank of England's benchmark interest rate has been at a record low 0.5% since March 2009. But Bank of England Governor Mark Carney has reinforced his low-rate message in recent months after unemployment fell faster than the bank had forecast. Anti-Chinese protests in Vietnam flared up on Wednesday as demonstrators set fire to factories. Tensions rose last week after China positioned a huge oil rig in an area also claimed by Vietnam. Up to 15 factories in southern Vietnam were set aflame as protesters targeted factories owned or managed by Chinese expats. And in Thailand, anti-government protesters continue to camp out in the Thai capital, determined to topple the caretaker government. Despite the ousting of Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra and 9 of her cabinet ministers for abuse of power, protesters fear the July 20th election might see their return to power. While Tesla's earnings continue to beat forecasts, the electric car company is particularly bullish on its prospects in China, where deliveries of its new Model S just started. i24 News journalist Daniel Roth has the details.
Amidst a recent 12% stock dip and ongoing delays in rolling out inexpensive versions of their electric car, Tesla Motors delivered its first Model S cars to Chinese customers. Tesla co-founder Elon Musk has suggested that his company may invest hundreds of millions of dollars in infrastructure on the Chinese front.
As far as our sales in China, it's difficult to make precise predictions. What we see right now is pretty strong demand. I think probably more demand than we can fulfill this year. In dollar terms, over time, we will probably end up investing hundreds of millions of dollars in charging infrastructure in China.
The price tag for the Model S in China is $118,000, 50% higher than in the United States, though Beijing is providing subsidies to help put 5 million cleaner vehicles on Chinese roads by 2020 in order to alleviate air pollution in the highly contaminated environments of China's urban centers.
Especially with the state of Beijing's air at the moment, I have always paid attention to the idea of buying an electric car. But for years, I've always hesitated because I've seen electric cars as having small bodies, poor distribution, and being unreliable.
这个可靠性差。
Tesla is not the sole electric car maker in the Chinese market, though. Chinese maker BYD's E6 is backed by Warren Buffett, and though sales have been slow because of the lack of infrastructure for recharging, there is optimism.
Well, I think the e-car market is definitely open up right now with incentives being offered by central government as well as the provincial government.
Tesla reported a first quarter loss of nearly $50 million, and actual delivery numbers were below expectations. Though high production costs may be driven down by up to 30% when a $5 billion battery gigafactory is completed, which could employ 6,500 workers, this is still in preliminary stages. Still, despite all of this, the prospect of cleaner automobile technology is causing a stir worldwide.
We're joined now by Josh Martin, analyst at I Know First Daily Market Forecast. Josh, so we're talking about Tesla here. I mean, they went essentially from being a vaporware car, if you want, that people thought was never necessarily going to be, to being a toy for the rich and famous, to now essentially being something that's actually being produced. I mean, are they going too fast? Are they producing too much too fast? What would you say about that?
No, I would not say that they're going too fast so far. The Model S was the top Motor Trend car in 2013. The car performed very well, receiving 5-star ratings in terms of safety. The Gigafactory, there's a lot of news of which state the Gigafactory will be in. However, it's necessary for Tesla to prepare for the future and get ready to handle more production.
Right. Now, essentially, we saw that after earnings were released, investors expressed some concern about, guidance issues, negative free cash flow. Does this company really have what it takes to, realize its dreams? I mean, they have these gigafactories planned and this and that, but negative free cash flow?
Well, it is a problem. This earnings report wasn't perfect. However, these are necessary for growth, and it's what the company needs to continue and handle further production.
Without the capital expenditure, obviously, they're not necessarily going to go anywhere, right?
For instance, they think research and development expenses are going to increase by 30%. However, this is necessary. Like I said before, the Model S set a very high bar.
Right.
And the Model X, where a lot of this research and development money is going to, needs to reach that bar as well.
Right. I'm sorry to interrupt you for a second. I just wanted to show a map here concerning where selling is allowed. Can you give us a little bit of detail regarding this map?
Oh, sure. There's a couple of states that have banned Tesla direct sales model. 5 of them being New Jersey, Maryland, Virginia, Texas, and Arizona.
Okay.
Missouri was...
Actually, our viewers can see it right next to you, so you can actually point to it as well.
Oh, okay. And then Missouri, which was recently passed change in their the way they write their legislator.
Yeah.
And it was passed without any public debate. It was very kind of shady the way they did it.
Yeah.
It was done by lobbyists by the National Automobile Dealers Association.
Right.
Which has a problem and finds Tesla to be a threat.
Okay.
The reason for this is because they say Tesla direct sales model impedes consumers' bargaining power, while Tesla argues that the National Automobile Dealers Association has a conflict of interest.
Obviously.
Because most of their revenue is made from servicing cars, or gasoline cars, I should say, and not promoting electric vehicles.
Right.
Because electronic vehicles only really need updates such as that you would get for your smartphone, like a software update. So
I mean, in terms of the shares, I mean, we saw them basically going way up and then
way down.
Way down. What's going on there?
Well, share value, with a stock like Tesla, it's a very popular. A lot of interest is generated with the stock. So whenever they have a news release or when they release their earnings, you can expect a lot of volatility with the stock.
Right.
Because people react. There's a lot of bears. There's a lot of bulls on either end.
Yeah.
Tesla is up, I believe, 18. I don't remember how much it is up year to date, but it's improved and it's gone down with this last earnings report.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Josh Martin, for joining us and giving us some insight on Tesla. In one of the poorest areas of the U.S., voters are fiercely opposed to U.S. President Barack Obama. Instead, they support the Republican Party in spite of their intention to cut social programs that provide the basic necessities that keep many of those people afloat. More in the next report.
Almost a third of the population live below the poverty line here in eastern Kentucky, where the economy used to rely on coal mining. Eric and Raymond live mainly off government benefits, with occasional odd jobs on the side. But even though the Republican Party would like to get rid of many of these handouts, Eric can't imagine ever voting Democrat.
The Republicans, I guess, they're the ones that know what might have raised up like we have, know what it's like and what we need and what shouldn't be taken away. And I guess Democrats just worry about the money in their pocket, what they and their friends are doing, and they ain't worried about us small people.
It's an enduring paradox across much of the US South. Poor voters tend to vote in greater numbers for Republican candidates who want to significantly reduce the benefits they rely on. Tony Watts is a local Democratic official. He reckons his party is unpopular here because at a national level it's distanced itself from coal as an energy source, with the president saying it's too polluting.
When this administration and previous administrations have turned their back on coal, that means that we lose jobs. And when we lose jobs, not just 2,000 jobs, because it's 2,000 times 7, because you might lose a coal miner, but you lose a trucker, and you lose somebody at Hardee's and somebody at McDonald's as a result of all that, because you don't have as much money flowing in the county.
While the recent closure of coal mines here has had an impact on the economy, that's just the latest setback. The region has been a target of government poverty reduction efforts since they were first piloted here in the 1960s. But local Republicans say these have brought about a culture of dependency.
The initial reforms helped tremendously in terms of helping people over a hump and getting health care, food, basic necessities, electricity. But what it's turned into is we literally have now families that sustain themselves on social programs.
It's a reliance that Raymond doesn't like to dwell on. And he's also not keen on the current president, Barack Obama.
I didn't vote for Obama. I'm American myself. I believe in keeping it that way.
Raymond's not the only one who feels this way around here. In 2012, Mitt Romney picked up 2/3 of the presidential vote in this county.
And we are joined now by I-24 News journalist Daniel Roth for a look at other reports we did not want you to miss in Media Watch. Daniel.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Thanks for joining us.
No problem. The first story we got is from the Financial Post. In the U.S., the median income there is $50,000. So this is how much people tend to spend in a year, rather. And we've got the story about a family in Nevada with 2 kids, 2 parents. The husband is studying on a GI Bill, and the wife is a stay-at-home wife, and they spend $14,000 a year.
Okay, just to be clear, we're talking about income or expenses?
This is how much they spend. They spend. Wow. Okay. So the 50,000 is the median income.
Right.
Most people in the U.S. spend above their income, actually.
Sure.
Now, this family is spending $14,000 a year. The way they do it is that they sew their own clothes, and they rarely need to buy new clothes.
Okay.
They cook at home almost entirely.
Their kids obviously don't get holes in their pants.
They're very careful. No, I don't know, but it seems they've got the skills to fix pants if they need to fix pants.
Okay.
They got the skills to
really
cook
cool.
healthy food.
Yeah.
They got a house because in Nevada where they live, the real estate market crashed. They jumped on that. They had a $30,000 budget, and they said, you know what? Let's not even have a mortgage. Let's buy a house for $28,000.
Oh, wow.
And they just kind of they figured out how to do extreme DIY, extreme do-it-yourself, and and really just kind of have really challenged the notion that you need this much money to survive by showing that they're living, they shop at a food co-op, for groceries, which drops the price significantly of produce. It's a family that's really proving that you don't need all that much to get by if you know how to do it yourself. Now, as we've seen in the show time and time again, the key here is education. The key here is knowing how to do it. And if you know how to do it, it is possible.
Right. Well, that's pretty interesting. I guess they should come to Israel. We should actually invite them to come here and
absolutely
give us some lessons, because you could probably use it. Thanks, Daniel. That's it for us at the Economy Magazine today. I'm Benjamin Chong at I24 News. Please continue to send us your comments and join us again tomorrow.